Hello and welcome back to HPL Discovery. We've got some more science that you can take home, and guess what? It's gonna be simple. You don't need fancy chemicals. You don't need questionable potions. I don't know what this is, but you can go ahead and dump it out because we're not gonna need it. Nor this, nor that. Maybe not this one, and we'll keep the rest of this stuff. Hopefully that's all fine. You guys let me know if something happens. Okay, so this week, we have got our spooky kits, and I hope that you're really excited about them. There's a couple of fun activities in. One, just a cardboard snake that you can easily make out of a roll of toilet paper or any cardboard tube. There's instructions for that. There's also a math game. If you're not familiar with Shut the Box, this is a 6-sided dice that you can use our instructions to fold together. I recommend using a little bit of tape to hold the edges together, but as you roll it, 6, 3, you play a game called Shut the Box. It comes with instructions and sheets for up to 3 players, and the way that this works is the player rolls the dice twice and adds up the sum to get the total, 2 and 3, which equals to 5. So you can either choose to shut down the 5 with the marker, or anything that adds to 5, 1 and 4, 2 and 3, etc. And then the next person rolls their 2 dice, and they get to do as well, with the idea being that once you've rolled a number that you can't shut down, you are then eliminated. So you keep going until you've either eliminated all the numbers, which is called shutting the box, or you have just a couple left. Say you have 1 and 3, then your score would be 4. The idea is to get the lowest possible score, and also learn your sums of numbers. It's kind of fun that way. Since this sheet only goes up to 9, for the 10, 11, and 12 that you can roll in a 6-sided dice, you can pick numbers that add to those numbers, or you can just write them in. Up to you what you do with that, but this one goes up to 9. Also, the big feature of our project here is the spooky sugar skull, which we are going to dye and color. You're all gonna get one of these little wooden sugar skulls that we printed from our laser printer here at the library for you. And let's talk a little bit about how this works. There's a little bit of brush. We have some bleeding tissues. These are tissues that when you add water, the color is going to seep out of them. And then onto the wooden skull, where because the skull is both porous, meaning it has tiny little holes and gaps in there where air and water can enter it, and hydrophilic, meaning it'll absorb that water, it's water loving. It's going to absorb that colored water from our tissues, stain it a color, and that is because when the water evaporates, all those little water molecules go back into the air. The color molecules, which are bigger and heavier, are gonna stay there in the wood. And the wood is composed of something called cellulose, which is all plant matter has that. It's a tissue in the plant cell walls that is hydrophilic, like I said, loves water, absorbs water. That's why you have things like cotton and paper and even wood that are going to absorb water because they are hydrophilic because of that cellulose. But let's take a look at what it looks like. Don't need it to be too wet, just a little bit wet on your brush. We're going to gently cover that skull with water. Wet the wooden skull there. And then we're gonna place the colors of tissue that you want on the skull. Let's place pink, a little bit of yellow, and red. We'll just go ahead and place those haphazardly. We're just gonna try to end up with a very colorful skull image here. This is based off of the Dias de los Muertos sugar skulls, and making a nice colorful sugar skull, which it'll talk about in the packet if you pick one up. It's a fun thing to do this season and can help us learn a little science as well. Pink tissue, let's put that back. Yellow, red. And once you've got them on there, let's go ahead and paint a little bit over the top again. So we just make sure to soak that in. nice. Wet. You don't need it soaking wet, but enough so that the tissue is saturated and that the water goes through it. All right, then we wait a few minutes. We're gonna take those off and see if it's dyed the skull. Let's take a closer look. So our skull has had a few minutes to soak through. You can see all that colorful tissue. We're gonna go ahead and peel it off. There, how does that look? You can see all those colors that have stained the wood because that hydrophilic cellulose in the wood has absorbed the water, and those stains will stay after the water evaporates because those color molecules are larger. Well, that's it for this week's HPL Discovery. I hope you enjoyed the science that we did, and you can pick up a packet. Join me next time when we